Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I always have to double check that Windows didn't screw up anything, which it looks like it's good for today. So, we'll hope that stays. Gonna start with a route badge and see where my legs take me. I've signed up for a race, but it's not a guarantee that I'll do it. Basically, it's dependent on how I feel doing this, because if my whoop is correct, it's not going to be a race day, but we'll see. I've had days where my whoop is incorrect, and I might just feel like going. We'll see. I am unsure. Can't believe it's Wednesday. This week has been weird. It started off with me thinking it was later in the week. And now it's that thing of like, oh, tomorrow's Thursday. Wow, okay. I have been pretty productive, though, so I don't know if that's like throwing it off, where my body's like, what are we doing? Who knows? I don't. Gonna try to do my best to make sure I stay planted in the saddle where I should be. Be good about that. Gonna try to get another route badge. I debated doing New York, but I only have like the 42-kilometer one left. And I don't have that in me right now. So we're gonna do this. And this also ends with the chance of a race. I'll be done this in time, so. Like I said, unsure if I will, though. It'll be an unknown. It's also a test for a new pair of bibs that I just got. Realized I've been wearing mine a lot, so I'm gonna try to wear in another pair. So I realized I haven't replaced my bibs in a while. I'm not going to talk about how, just a while. That's all you get. I wish I could replace them more. While I plug Primal a lot, I'm not sponsored by them. They kind of sponsor KK, but not me personally. Hey, Dad! How's it going? I will see you not too long from now. I mean in relative terms, of course. All of a sudden, a month is not a long period of time for me, which is concerning. Thankfully, the warm-up route is very, very flat. Very little elevation gain. Which is fine with me after all of the New York. But if I race, the race is New York, unfortunately. So, kind of give up one for the other. It's either that or I do the New York route, so, I mean. Basically, if I don't race, I'll probably do another route after this, possibly. Oh, dang. Yeah, 4:30 in the morning is a little rough. Enjoy your vacation. It's one of those times where it's worth it. Are you already out of the country? Or are you still in transit? This is weird. One of my screens just flipped and I don't know why. Or at least I think it did. Either that or I'm usually Friday. Okay. I honestly could not remember. Trying to track everything lately is not my forte. Right? Good? Actually, I think that was a cassette, but... Still. I don't like hearing noises of settling from my drivetrain. Because Penguin is away soon. Not yet, but soon. Nice semi-leisurely spin to start. That building over there says Eric. Is he that vain? Is that Eric's building? That's a little... Oh, boy. I mean, once you're on vacation, time flies, so... You're going to be on vacation, not vacation for a very short period of time, and then vacation again. I'm jealous. I wish. I would love to have time off right now. All the crazy people at my job are coming out of the woodwork. It's that time of year. Open enrollment may be over, but now the ridiculous starts. And there's no escaping, fortunately. Just happy that while it's snowing outside, the AC is still able to work inside. I mean, you can have a German beer, but you're not having it for me. I don't, I do not drink beer even still. It's not my taste palette. Have a German iced coffee for me. That would be my pick. That's the thing I miss. Oh, jeez. Yeah, we're probably at maybe an inch. It's not a ton. I won't lie, that's one of the things I remember the most. Is sitting in the city square with an iced coffee. That was, for some reason, that's one of the things that sticks out the most. And of course, Austria, but that's for obvious reasons. Yeah, but it might have been on Buck. I honestly don't remember, because we did that a lot. Iced coffee was my go-to. And I remember sitting in the hotel bar while we were at your conference, ordering the, I think it was the Black Forest cakes. No, I remember that through stories. I do not remember that personally. I'd be impressed if I did. I think my memory of that day is gone. For obvious reasons. I mean, for better or for worse, it meant that I have zero interest in drinking at all. So I guess that's a win. I don't even remember the last time I've touched anything alcoholic. Legitimately. Not even for a sip, I don't remember. My heart rate's being pretty reasonable today, but I always worry. Is that because it doesn't want to go up? Or is it because it's on a good day? There's really only one way to tell, and I don't want to find out right now. I am confused why my left leg is being finicky, though. I haven't ridden enough this week for that. Only thing I can think of is how much I've been screwing around with saddles. Yay. Saddles. Because of lots of problems. I do wonder if we'll ever see the full build of the Kaiju that they're sending somewhere. We don't know where. But a Kaiju is being built somewhere. Love you. Have fun. I will be here. And if I don't ride safe, I'm concerned. I would be impressed how I wouldn't. I just realized what that statue is. I'm blanking on it. But it was one of the Japanese samurai general. I just noticed that out of the corner of my eye. In the center of that park to the left. I'm trying to remember. I don't think it's Nobunaga. We'll see if we see it here on the left side. It's in the middle of this park. There it is. I cannot remember for the life of me. I am surrounded by a pro and an employee. Quite the combination. I'll have to keep an eye on my left leg. See if I can figure out what happened. Because it's like right here. And it's not like one-sided where it's a knee issue. Weird. Cleats haven't changed. I dropped the saddle slightly, but that was because I had raised it too much. I don't think that would have been an issue, so I think it's at the right height. If I need to, I can always go grab a measuring tape and double check it. One of the other pains when you change saddles that changes your saddle height ever so slightly. And it can cause so much problems. Person is not close enough for a drop, but I'm gonna have to dump it. Otherwise, I'm not gonna get any more worthwhile power up. Hopefully. I might be getting like 1% draft back here. Maybe. It's unlikely, though. Yeah, arrow's better. Try to reset my shoe a little bit. For the moment, give it a little bit more float. I might have cranked it down too soon. See if that helps. Very weird. I haven't had that issue in a while, so. Legs just being a pain. As it always is. Might be settling. It's obviously going to take a little bit for it to kind of fade out because it's just like a lingering discomfort. It's got to go away first. Who knows? Seems a little bit better now. Weird. Cycling fit is such a weird thing. The body is, I don't know. Hopefully I will have a new saddle soon. I don't think I'll have it before Saturday though. Unfortunately. So I know the one I'm riding right now isn't really great for the male anatomy. But it's what I have. Alright, looks like we're going left. We're going through the castle? Because that doesn't seem like the right length. Not for a power-up. It doesn't track with the distance through the castle. No, didn't think so. That is quite the combination. You got a Bumblebee and a GB hat. That is a combination for sure. Don't know if I'd ever wear that. Probably gonna get pretty close to leveling this today. But I'm not gonna use it if I do the race, so. There's not a chance I'm doing a New York course without a fully upgraded bike under me. Not with how much I've done New York lately. Alright, over halfway. We'll start seeing the timer soon for the race. That'll be a good marker. I think we got like 3 minutes till the timer will pop. Now, like I said, not 100% committed to doing it yet. We'll see. Kind of is going to be dependent on how I feel after this. We just gonna do another loop of this? Yup. Weird. Oh, we're gonna do this again? So we do this. We'll see this area 2 more times at least. Interesting. I guess this is for the red zone repeats, which is sprints, I think. So there's 5 sprints. I didn't do base camp or build or whatever where this one's from. I don't feel bad about missing it. I just don't like that there was custom routes for it. Like, why wouldn't you use Sprinter's Paradise? That's like a course purpose built for sprinting. Weird choice to make a new course. Like, climb control, just do Innsbruck Ring or something? I don't know. I feel like there's plenty of options out there. I feel like at least this one didn't need. Frank! Thank you for the raid! Pimp! How you doing, bud? I'm just trying to get a route badge for the moment. We'll see if I race here in a little bit. There's the race timer. I'm not 100% certain yet. But I appreciate the raid, Bragg. Hopefully you had a good ride. If I'm not mistaken, I'd imagine if it hasn't already, your cyclocross season's probably winding down. You gotta save that for the race. He says entirely unsure if he's actually going to do one. It's always true. True. I'm just on one of those days where it's like, normally I race today. My Whoop says I'm on a pretty rough day. It's not a great course. So I'm like, should I? I've been pretty responsible lately. But should I? I don't know. I'm very much 50-50 right now. Feather is moderately useless on this course. I guess I'll use it on this tiny kicker here. Kind of why I'm shaking off the dust right now. Just checking where my legs are. Because I'm not going to pretend I'm fresh, that's for sure. It's been a week. My recovery scores have been in the garbage. Wonderfully enough. It's always tough when your recovery numbers are always showing yellow. It's like, can you, please? Because I got one day where it was green, and my HRV was over 100 for the first time in months. And I'm like, oh, great. And then it was gone. And I'm like, oh, that was fleeting. Thanks. Thanks for the tease. VO2 max is up according to Whoop, though. But I'm skeptical on if Whoop is actually correctly predicting my VO2 max. I feel like it's a little bit of witchcraft to try to establish a VO2 max off of a wristband. I'm sure there's a reasonable guesstimate there, but without measuring what's coming out of my lungs, I'm skeptical, to say the least, of it being accurate on VO2 max. And I'm somebody who's paying for one of the highest levels of membership with Whoop, so. Partially because I like having a portable blood pressure cuff and ECG on demand. Is it going to be, like, dead accurate? No. But I just like the idea that it's constantly monitoring. And if it flags something, it'll give me a warning so I can actually check with something more accurate. This thing has gotten a lot of respect for me when it predicted that I had COVID. And it was right. That was kind of my telltale sign that this thing has some good tech in it. I'm always confused when I get a notification that I've got a shipment coming in, and I have no idea what it's for. It's that thing of... What? What did I order? I know I don't have virtual shifting. Calm down, Zwift. I beg of you, Zwift. Give me a way to turn that off. It is one of the most annoying notifications. Those of us without virtual shifting know we don't have it. All it takes is one pop-up, maybe 3 maps, and then stop. Because, like, if I touch it every time it's gonna pop that up. And it's just because it's near the steering. I get it. I promise you by the 25th time you told me I don't have virtual steering, I know it. Kind of slowly winding down the effort just in case I do race. Don't want as much Zone 3 in there. I will be very happy when I get a new saddle on it, though. Huh. I have no idea what that is. Well, that's not true. I might have an idea, but I'm not going to be sure. Alright, we're gonna go out and do this loop again. Oh no, that was the loop. Never mind. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that we've done the loop. I'm totally paying attention. Where's DJ when you need him? If I do the race, it'll be Prospect Park, which is what I was talking about the other day. Sometimes YouTube Music does get it right. $3K. It'll be definitely done in time. It's one of the reasons I chose this route. There's pretty much no doubt that I would be done with time to spare. I'm consistent. 46 seconds every time that I was through that. $25K remain until next upgrade. That's not bad. You won't get that today. That'll be soon. Do a little bit more of a push here. There we go. Tap into the legs slightly. Just to see what happens. Alright, 2K. When I hop off the bike to possibly jump into the race, I think I'm going to switch shorts. Consider these broken in for a wash. And grab another set. Go back to one that I'm used to for the hard effort. Until these kind of get full broken in. I know that sounds weird, but... Okay, we are going to go back out to the peninsula area again. That's weird. Seeing shadows. I'm gonna have to keep looking at what Saturday has for races. Whether I do like tiny races, whether I try to knock out another longer route badge. I'm not sure yet. Because the tiny races haven't updated yet. So I don't know what I'm up against. Oh, okay, no, we're going to the arcade. Our base partners here. No. Less than okay. That road line was not painted well. I have not noticed that before. It juts out pretty hard. Somebody not doing their job well. Okay, I see where we're headed. Is this the super long sprint? No, I don't think this one is. This one I think is only like 400 meters. I think this is the one that I used to do with the sprint group. Dutch Diesel. I know Dutch Diesel themselves aren't a sprint group, but they would host a sprint ride. 320. Okay, I thought so. Can't remember if it's the other direction that's super long or it's a different one. Good job, Yao. Alright, there's the route completion. This real quick. Wait for Zip to unfreeze. Eventually. Okay, that's fine. Let's go chill. Let's go chill with you a little bit. I don't want to go too low and completely cool off. No, I was getting into pens. I'm going to race, it's just not yet. Or at least that's the plan. Still like 15 minutes till the race, so I'm gonna go spin for a bit. How are you doing, Peter? Basically, I did a route badge, hopped into the pens, and now I'm gonna go spin with Bernie. 14 minutes till the race. Also, are you even a sub? I can't tell from Restream. That sounds terrible when I don't know, because I might have insulted you if you're a sub. I don't know why people sub to me anyways, so... I am highly inconsistent, and I offer literally nothing. There's always YouTube. Fair. Fair. Yeah, I don't really know who subbed to me on YouTube. I just know my count, roughly. Which, I'll be honest, neither sub count really matters too much to me. But hopefully you're doing well, Peter. I am anticipating racing. I am not anticipating it going well. I will say that much. I am not on a great day. Not only from my whoop score, but my legs agree. It's one of those days where you're like, yeah, well. Music? Are you good? I think my music just had a seizure. Kind of gonna chill right now. All right. So I had to respond to Penguin. Trying to place a coffee order for her, and the place we order from is having tech issues lately, and their online ordering system is always down. We do often, but there's occasion where you want something special. I'll be entirely honest, it'll be my third coffee today. I said it's a rough week, I wasn't kidding. My addiction is nothing compared to other people. My father talked to me multiple times about how he would chug pots of coffee by himself while he was in the military. I don't have 3 every day. And it's just coffee, it's not lattes. Lattes would be much, much worse. Honestly, I don't drink coffee for the caffeine. I drink coffee for the flavor. I'm one of those weird people. For the longest time, I drank decaf, but it's such a pain to try to find good decaf. So, I didn't really have a choice. If I'm gonna drink it for the flavor, then I can't really have bad coffee and enjoy it. So, I've had people, like, call me weird. But it truly, for me, is the flavor. I love the flavor of coffee. I do not get much of a kick from caffeine. Also, mainly because I don't drink a lot of lattes, which is really where you're going to get the kick. Because certain tea is the same strength of caffeine as a coffee. It just depends on the tea. So, I'm not in it for the caffeine at all. Well, I know it sounds like I am. I am not. It just tastes good. But yeah, I always got, like, weird eyes when I would order a decaf coffee anywhere, and they're like, why? And I'm like, why not? That's good. But yeah, no, there's some days that Penguin needs something because it's been a rough day, and that's usually when we get a coffee order. Is something that we will not be making at home because just to stock the stuff for it. Like, what Penguin usually wants is something like a chai nog, which we're not stocking stuff for chai, and we're not stocking eggnog. So, that ain't happening at home. So, it's that kind of stuff usually. When Penguin needs coffee, it's not normal. I will tell you that. Which, if you've never had a chai nog, try it. It is actually quite good. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go hit the bathroom and change. And then we'll do a race. And who knows what'll happen. I make no promises. Okay, yeah, if you're not a fan of eggnog, then you won't enjoy this. But basically, it's a hot chai where the milk is eggnog. It's really good. I don't usually drink my own. I will take a sip or two, because I like the flavor of it, but it's too heavy. So, I steal a sip of Penguins. There are a lot of people. This is gonna hurt. That looks like my character. That's weird. I don't know how I feel about this. Garage, switch. Ah. Yeah, that's really weird. That's almost the same, like, facial hair that I've chosen for my character. Ah, I need to make sure you're up. Oops. Make sure you are showing the right thing. Oh, goody, you are. This is gonna be miserable. I don't know why I'm doing this. Hey, Wacky, how's it going? Yeah. Okay, that's cool. The power-ups that are possible is a really cool touch. So over on the side, on the top of the sauce mod, where it shows power-ups, that's not, like, obviously what I have, but those are the available power-ups. I mean, that's good. Better is good. Fair warning, I have no idea how this is gonna go. Oh, I think somebody sat. Their cat sit on their keyboard. I understand sinus issues. 100%. It has not been a fun year. It's snowing now, so hopefully it's over. I was gonna leave this, but I'm gonna switch. Oh, it wants me to listen to Ina. That's funny. Alright. Let's make 4 choices. 10 seconds to go. Prospect Park for what, 4 loops? With a KOM in it? This is gonna be miserable. 3, 2, 1. We'll probably still have people coming off of summer to winter break, which means people will not be classified correctly yet. Ooh, yeah, no, Wacky. That all sucks. So some people may notice the sauce layout has changed slightly. Trying to retain viewers. If people stay and watch, that's up to them. Oh, it does show people's power-up usage. What? Okay, that's cool. Oh. If somebody doesn't like it, I don't care. I've actually added more data. Just more useful data. I find sauce to be useful. If somebody doesn't like it, whatever. There are enough Zwifters out there. See, if everybody's HUDless, it's different. It's one thing if everybody is HUDless. But if only you're HUDless, you're basically screwing yourself over. You're basically throwing away free data. I just like the data of how far things away. Basically, the left side is all info I would have on a computer. Like, very little on my screen is stuff I wouldn't have available to me on, like, a Wahoo or something. Someone's level 8? Wow. Youngin' over here. You're staring at the sauce, as awkward as that sounds. So, Sauce is a $2 subscription on Patreon, but all of the windows you see are all Sauce. But how are you, Barry? Basically, it's all stuff that is naturally being put out by Zwift in a text file. It's just being read and displayed. So, some people think it's cheating, but it really isn't. It's all data that's readily available. It's just putting it more digestible. Peter. I would hope we've gotten rid of most of the Z-powers by now. I would hope. Not all, but most. Now it's just people that don't belong in the category that are pulling. No, I'm not that talented. No, if you search Sauce for Zwift, you'll be able to find it. It's basically a semi-open source project that a bunch of devs have contributed to. Somebody started it, and then a bunch of people have contributed their own tools. I wish I knew how to code like this. I do not. And that sucks, Peter. Sauce. S-A-U-C-E. Sauce for Zwift. Sorry, lack of oxygen makes me, not enunciate. If anybody has the link, feel free to share it. You will not get timed out. Actually, if you look at the top middle, next to ride-ons... Oh, no, you're fine. The top middle shows the name of it next to the ride-ons. I do not mind chatting while I race. I mean, I do live at 5,500 feet. So, yes, I will use that to my advantage. Wacky, I would love to see you code something for Sauce. Code something for charity. I honestly don't even know what language it's programmed in. Heart rate slowly catching up. Are you sure, Hina, or is that a guess? Oh, okay. My guess, probably Python. That's one of the more common lately for stuff like this. Yeah. Ah, C++. That was second guess. Oh boy. Oh no. Whew. I think that's the first time my power-ups actually worked, for some reason. Ah, thanks. I appreciate your confidence. Do you see my W barrel after 6K? I'm shocked we've shed over 30 people already. I'm curious, will every climb be rough, or is this going to be first and fourth? That's my question. See, I just reference W-Bell. I don't use it as a stopping block. I would like it to settle down the time. If anything, W-Bell just makes me push harder when I see it's in the red and I might get a new FTP. I mean, yes, but usually it means I'm going to explode because I'm not smart doing it. It does seem like this 24, this is it. It's not getting any bigger. I get it, Swift. Cool thing is now you guys can tell when I'm using a power-up. The blue bar will decrease when you see it. This solves a lot of the HUD problems, though. Being able to see what everybody else is using. The only thing I would change is I want it to be color matched with the power-up. So, like, if they're using a feather, I want it to be green. Alright. Time 2. Let's take it gently this time. Hopefully you also enjoy the zoom in of the segment on the map at the top right. Shows you where the start and end is. Huh? Where do you see it, Havaka? Oh, I see it. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Nobody dropped that lap. Still at 24. That's 40 gone though. That's a third of the field left roughly. A little more than that. Over half the climbing down at least. All right. Two more times up the hill. I have a feeling we're to catch some people. $1K till the hill, KOM. Oh, nice, level 50. Congrats. Distract everybody. This is where my lack of fitness stays and come in. See how fast my heart rate spiked. Oxygen jet was real on that one. We shed 2. One more. You mean when I get dropped? Yeah, I agree. If people go hard, I'm gonna have a hard time hanging on. Especially with no feather. Ooh. Somebody trying to call somebody out for sticky watts. 30 meters of elevation remaining, and that's all the finishes. I don't feel amazing going into this final. So we'll see. Ow. Oh, that was very rough. I can be content with that one. Oh, God. Oh. There's so little recovery in there. Yeah. Oh, well, the wattage graph is broken. Oh. Oh. I am happy with that one. Of course, it bumped my CRS. I can't really complain about that one. That hurt. That was brutal. Let me fix my audio. Change what I'm writing, and we'll go warm down. Holy hell. That was rough. Hopefully you all enjoyed that, because that was 110%. Ugh. There was nothing more than that. That was it. I'd love to pretend I had more. But that was 110%. Without a shadow of a doubt. That was, I'm shocked I saved. Man, did that hurt. Had it not strung out as much, I could have placed top 3, but when it started stringing out, I'm like, if I close that, I have nothing. I might start at the front, but I'm not finishing at the front. So it's that thing of, what are my options? It strung out a little bit more than I anticipated coming into the bottom too, which is a little error. I don't know if I could have changed much if I'm honest though. Whew. Oh well. Headphones died. Been using them all day. Not surprising. Oh man. And my legs are shit. Happy with the result. And I think that's 1,000 XP for doing that for the first race. So I think there's 5 in that series, and it's 1,000 for the first, and then 250 each for the next 4. So even though you don't get any like route badge or anything, you still get XP for doing a race. Because they're just not going to give out a badge anymore for it. They're just going to do XP, which makes more sense. I honestly don't really care about a random badge. I mean, Strava, it makes sense because that's what Strava does, but Zwift, there's really no place to display them, so it doesn't really matter. It's not. I mean, I don't even know how often people go in and check their own badges. Ooh. The sad part is they didn't even go 100% on that final climb. I mean, it was probably 100% for most people, but it wasn't as deep as I expected it to go, if I'm entirely honest. Which I know doesn't make me happy, because had they gone 100%, I absolutely would have been shocked. I was actually kind of shocked that, oh, Sarah Gigante. There's a pro. That they went really hard on 3. So it was like 1 and 3 were the hard ones, 2 and 4 were the easier ones. it's just 4, everybody was just tired. I hate to say it, that is a good course. I just would rather a feather. Instead of... Like, I'd want an arrow and a feather. I think that would be the best options for that. Because not having a feather with a KOM is weird. Because then it also has you have to factor in strategy, because there's 3 places to pick up power-ups every lap. So if you get the feather on the first one, like on the lap banner, do you keep it and just throw away another power-up, or do you use it and hope to get another? But with an arrow and a draft, it doesn't really matter. I kind of almost would have preferred a draft at the end, because of how stretched out the group was, and how low my top-end power was. I feel like a draft might have been better, and I probably could have used it earlier, and possibly pulled in a little bit more. I don't know how it would have affected my end sprint, though. I mean, it shoulda, woulda, couldas are all over the place. I just don't know what the best answer is. Can't be upset with the result, though. I definitely didn't think I was going to do that well. I was 64 people. When it shredded after the first KOM and it was down to 24, I was kind of shocked. I was expecting it to be a whittling down, not an immediate drop. Then that is the difference of racing and technically Cat D. So I think that might have been the last time I'm allowed to race in that group for now. It's the first time my ZRS has meaningfully gone up. I'm very curious to see the person that they were calling up for Sticky Watts, though. I kind of want to go back and look and see if I can see. But somebody was very adamant about it, which I haven't seen a lot of call-outs for Sticky Watts lately. Usually when people call it out, they're pretty sure of it, but it's not always. It's a pretty gutsy call to make if it's not right. That's pretty heavy connotations if they're wrong. And wouldn't be entirely shocking in Cat D. It very easily could be somebody that just doesn't realize that they're doing it. I mean, like, no offense to Rathic, but if Rathic was racing and he did what he does in his stop pedaling, and he had a finicky trainer, technically it could look like it for him as well. Because Rathic will occasionally just stop pedaling, and if you have a trainer that holds wattage, technically it's going to look like Sticky Watts. So it's not always somebody doing it intentionally. Sometimes it's just either pedaling style, habits. You never know. And in Cat D, I don't know. It'd be really weird to be doing it Cat D maliciously. You're not really getting much out of it. Though, I guess in the opposite end, if you're doing it in Cat A, you're almost guaranteed to get called out, so... take your pick. Oh yeah, I need to... there's a couple of things I want to fix in the sauce. Things I noticed. That will cut down some stuff. Some stuff that I was looking for. So I'll have to do that after I finish. Well, it's still fresh on my brain, because otherwise I will forget and I'll think of it on Sunday, or Saturday. Oh, my legs are going to be cooked for the rest of the night. Oh well, it was worth it. With Prospect Park, I wouldn't want to do more laps than that, I don't think. I think 4 was good. Although, you know, it's always the question of if there's more laps. Will people just spread the effort? And that I don't know. It kind of depends on the group, I guess. Because it could be that if you do 6 laps, they'll take that same effort of 4 laps and just spread it over 2 more. But it's not a guarantee. Depends on how many people you have that are out of category bounds that are racing down by accident, or somebody on a really good day, somebody that just wants to shake things up. Lots of things that could happen. That's a jersey I've never seen before. I don't know if it said what, like Ride with James? I've never seen that. But I was very thankful on that last lap that they did not go ham with that climb. I was definitely starting to feel the not a good day play. Well, partly too. I could tell that as soon as we got back to the climb, my heart was spiking and stuff. It's that thing of my body was starting to fade from fatigue. Wasn't prepared for continuous jumps and fatigue. It had one or two good ones, and then it's like, So there's a high chance I will be in red tomorrow. I would not be surprised. With how my body faded near the end, fully expect for my group to yell at me and be like, I told you. You're only at like a 40-some-odd% recovery. Why would you do this? Because I'm stupid. You should know that by now. Whoop. We've been together long enough. Should not be a surprise. Oh well. It's not like I have any major events coming up or anything. Just Wednesday's usually my race day, and I wasn't that against it. I'll regret it later. Oh. Well, probably. It's that thing of, it's a good workout. Alright. That is it for me for now. I should be back Saturday. I have no idea what I'll be doing. Depends on what the tiny races are. Depends on what everything else is. If the tiny races don't look interesting and there's nothing else, I'll probably just do a route badge. But we'll see. I know I'm not going to do the epic race because the epic race is nothing that I'm interested in. There's 3 different parts of that race that are no. So definitely not epic race. So we'll see. But thank you everybody for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed watching me suffer. I will upload the race onto YouTube if you want to watch it there as just a cut down, or obviously it'll be here in the highlights. Yeah, thank you all. Appreciate it, and I will see you Saturday.